بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين. We ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us all the sincere intentions. Inshallah, today we're going to go through the tafsir, the explanation of Surah an-Naba. This surah is a Makki surah. They call it Makkiyah. So whenever they talk about the Quran and the surahs that were revealed, the scholars will speak about the surahs either being revealed in Mecca or in Al-Madinah. And sometimes some surahs like Al-Fatiha, they were revealed both in Mecca and in Al-Madinah. And sometimes you would find that some ayahs, they were revealed but not all at once. So you would find that the last ayah that was ever revealed, you find it at the beginning of the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, and the first few ayahs that were revealed, you'd find them in the 30th part of the Quran. So this is a whole knowledge by itself. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed in Surah an-Naba, which is 40 ayahs. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed عَمَّ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. This is a question for the people of Mecca. So because this surah was revealed in Mecca, it was before the Hijrah. And so the people of Mecca at the time, most of them, they were people that worshipped idols. So they used to regularly ridicule the Muslims. They used to belittle the Muslims. And especially because the Prophet ﷺ came with informing people that there would be a resurrection. And Ahlu Makkah, al-Mushrikun, they were of the opinion that people, when they die, their bones, they just become dust and that's it, that there is no hereafter. This is what was instilled within them by their forefathers, that there is no resurrection, which they refer to as al-Ba'ath. Al-Ba'ath. So they would ask the Muslims about this, about resurrection, not with the intention of learning, but with the intention of belittling them. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed, عَمَّ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. What are they asking about? And because here, from what is apparent, the words that have been used, it's a question. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is, in this ayah that He revealed, He is the one that is asking the question, not because Allah doesn't know. Rather, Allah knows everything eternally and everlastingly. Rather, this is to emphasize how great the matter is that they are actually asking about. an-Naba al-Azim. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala asked, what is it that these people are asking about, Ahlu Makkah? What are they asking about? And then the reply came also that they're asking about an-Naba. an-Naba is, in other words, the piece of information, the news, al-khabar. You could say akhbarani fulan, and you could also say anba'ani fulan. He told me. Such and such person informed me. So this naba, this is the great news, the great piece of information. So Allah, in this ayah, in the beginning of the surah, He asked, and then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala replied. الَّذِي هُمْ فِيهِ مُخْتَلِفُونَ. They're asking about this great matter that they have a difference of opinion with regards to. Some of the mushrikun, some of the polytheists would say that we will not come back. We will die and that's it. We will not be resurrected. Some of them, they said, well, we are doubting, we're not sure. So they were about this matter مختلفون. الذي هم فيه, they in this matter are مختلفون. Then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed a great reprimand of these people. كلا سيعلمون. Kalla is a word that if you translate it into the English language, although we don't translate the Quran, but if you were to translate it in normal terms on a day-to-day basis, the way people use it, kalla means certainly not, absolutely not. So if someone wants something, if you ask someone, do you want something to eat? They might say la, which means no. But you wouldn't find them saying kalla, absolutely not. Unless someone asked a Muslim, do you want to eat some pork? He'd say kalla, of course not. So kalla here is a reprimand of those polytheists. Kalla saya'lamun, meaning they will find out. Like they're asking now, and they are asking to belittle, and some of them are doubting, and they're not sure, will be brought back or not. Kalla saya'lamun, they will know. Like they're going to see what's coming. And then again, after kalla saya'lamun, thumma kalla saya'lamun, and then again, you have these words, kalla saya'lamun, and then thumma kalla saya'lamun. It's repeated. It's like saying, they will know, and then certainly they will know. It's like saying, a little like saying, they will know, and then some, like on top of that. So this was very severe on these non-Muslims, these polytheists that were hearing it. And then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in this surah, you see it has very many small ayahs. What you're going to see now and here is that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed many signs of His power. Like to say, I created such and such and such, and all these things that will be listed. So bringing you humans back to life, this is easy. And you will see, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the form of a question, Alam naj'alil arda mihada? Didn't we, meaning Allah, didn't we spread the earth out? Like you see, the grass is spread out, the fields are spread out. Like just to bring it closer to the understanding, in football sometimes when they relay the pitch, what do? They have the astroturf, they lay it out. Like that, the earth is all laid out, the mountains are laid out, everything on the land is laid out. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentioned, Alam naj'alil arda mihada, the whole earth, didn't Allah spread it out in this way? Like a carpet is spread out. This is something amazing. Didn't Allah spread this out? And here you are doubting about whether Allah can bring people back to life. Alam naj'alil arda mihada wal jibala awtada? Didn't we, meaning Allah, didn't Allah make the mountains as pegs? Peg them down so that the earth would be stable. These large mountains that are put in place, didn't Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala put these in place? Oh, you mushrikun, you're doubting about whether Allah can bring people back to life after they've died. Isn't it Allah that put these great mountains in these places? Of course, Allah is the one that did that. So bringing people back to life is easy. The first question, Alam naj'alil arda mihada? Didn't Allah spread the earth out the way it is? Wal jibala awtada, and the mountains, didn't Allah put them in place like pegs? Wa khalaqnakum azwaja, Allah made things of different types. Some of them are in pairs, some of them are not in pairs, they are individual. They have different types, different colors, different shapes, different sizes. وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا, isn't it Allah that created sleep for you? And sleep was something that was created for you by which you would cut away from your daily activities. When a person sleeps, they do not move. When a person sleeps, they're calm. Their hands and feet, they're not moving about, shaking about. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed, didn't He make your sleep subat? As-sabat, it means to cut. So the sleep, it cuts you off from other things. Sometimes you might fall asleep and there are people shouting and screaming, but you've been cut away. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is mentioning things here to these people that show the great signs of His power. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا, and didn't Allah make the night as a covering? Just like when you go to sleep, you put a cover over yourself and it covers all of your body. Isn't it that the day, Allahu yuliju nahara fil layl, meaning you have the day, and then like a blanket, the night comes and it covers all of the day. It covers the light. This is a great sign of the power of Allah. And here we have al-mushrikun, the polytheists, belittling the Muslims, asking, saying, oh, so we're going to come back. So you think we're going to die and we're going to come back? As though they think that this is something impossible, when Allah is the one who did all of these things. And He is the one who created the layl, the night, وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا, like a piece of clothing, like libas. وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا, and Allah is the one that created the day as a means of living for people. People go out in the day and they buy, they sell, they work, they acquire money. This is something Allah Ta'ala created. وَبَنَيْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعًا شِدَادًا, and Allah mentioned that I created above you 7 very sturdy structures, 7 solid structures. And here the word sky isn't even mentioned. What is meant is the sky, but it's not mentioned. وَبَنَيْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعًا, 7. Allah built 7 shidadan, 7 strong, impregnable structures. And these are obviously the skies. The skies, they are solid bodies that they are not resting on anything. Likewise, they are not being held up by anything. Allah eternally willed that they would stay like that, they would hover like that, and that is what they do. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentioned, وَجَعَلْنَا سِرَاجًا وَهَاجًا, and Allah created this sun, O people of Mecca, that you see. It is a solid body and it gives off a very hot light. This is something easy for Allah. Likewise, bringing you back after you having died and even your bones having gone away, this is something easy for Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ مَاءً ثَجَّاجًا, Allah is the one who brings out rain from these clouds, and then the rain pours from them. In this ayah, Allah referred to the clouds as things that are juiced. So they are full of rainwater that comes from different places. Then when they are full, absolutely bulging with water inside them, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has angels that are appointed to bring the wind. The wind blows, and then these clouds that are bulging with rainwater, they start to move. And when they move, what happens is that the rain falls. The rain squeezes out like a sponge. You squeeze it a little bit, water comes out. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentioned, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ, Allah is the one that made water descend from these things that are juiced, i.e. the clouds. مَاءً ثَجَّاجًا, and it pours down. Allah is the one that does that. Why? لِنُخْرِجَ بِهِ حَبًّا وَنَبَاتًا, so that things would grow, so that wheat, barley, plants and other things would grow. Look at the connection between the sky and the earth. The sky, or rather the clouds that are above, something comes down from them so that something can grow on the earth. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is the creator of that. And here we have al-mushrikun saying that, are we going to come back after we die? Like one of them said, as Allah revealed in Surah Yasin, يحيي العظام وهي رميم. Will Allah give life to bones when they will have dissolved and they will have become mere dust? Will Allah give them life? Once a person came to the Prophet ﷺ and he brought a bone which was probably someone who died a long time ago, and because it was very thin, he started to break it in his hand like this, and he said that, and he was not a Muslim, and he said, Allah will bring this back, Allah will bring this back like this. وَالْعَيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى. Allah mentioned, وَجَنَّاتٍ أَلْفَافًا. There will be, from the rain that comes down, there are many trees, groups of trees that are folded. It seems like, because there's so many trees, when you look at a forest, you might imagine that the trees are all intertwined and folded together because there are so many leaves and branches. This is the result of what comes down from the sky, from the rain. After mentioning all of this, all of the signs of the power of Allah, great signs. I mean, even one of them, if you focus on it and you talk about it and you think about it in detail, you think, subhanallah, this is amazing. This is amazing. Then if this is so amazing, and obviously Allah has the power to do that and has done that, then what is bringing people back to life after they've died? After all of this, after mentioning the great signs of the power of Allah, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentioned, Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. There'll be a day which is known as Yawm al-Fasl. Al-Fasl meaning when people will find out, when the judgment is done. We sometimes say, what's the word? Fasla. Yawm al-Fasl. That things will be differentiated on that day. People will know. Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. Allah emphasized, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, that on that day, judgment will happen. And indeed, that day, kana miqata, this day is set. This day is set. Like one of us set something in the calendar with a particular time, with a particular date, starting, and it is set, it is known to Allah alone when that day will be. And when you hear it like that, not just that it's going to be, but that it's set. That Allah knows when it is. Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. It's like saying, this day will come. So you people of Mecca will see, like Allah mentioned in the beginning, كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ. They will come to know about it. يَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا. On that day, the horn will be blown into a second time. So the first time, when it's blown into, everybody will die. And 40 years will pass. Then the angel of Allah that blew into the horn, Israfil alayhi salam, will be given life again. And he will blow into the horn a second time. يَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ. The day that as-sur, which is the horn, will be yunfakh, it will be blown into. فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا. And you will come, fawj after fawj after fawj. Meaning group after group after group, you will gather on the plains of resurrection. وَفُتِحَتِ السَّمَاءُ فَكَانَتْ أَبْوَابًا. On that day, the skies, which are these solid structures, they will be futihat, they will be opened up. What it means here is that they will fissure, they will crack. And then Allah mentioned, فَكَانَتْ أَبْوَابًا. They will be like doors, but not like we know a door to be. Rather, they will be great openings, gaping holes in the skies because they've started to crack, and angels will be pouring out of them. وَسُيِّرَتِ الْجِبَالِ فَكَانَتْ سَرَابًا. Allah describing that day mentioned that the mountains will be moved from their places. They will be moved from their places and then be flattened. كَانَتْ سَرَابًا, like a mirage, like someone who thinks that they are seeing something. Like when the sun is hot, someone imagines water. This is how the mountains were described. They will move, and then they will be there, and then suddenly they won't be there. They'll be flattened. There will be nothing sticking out on the day of judgment. No buildings, no trees, no mountains. So this is describing the day of judgment. And then, continuing, Inna jahannama kanat mirsada. This ayah, in it, Allah mentioned that hellfire, it will be a place that people pass over. He's talking about the sirat. Some of the Muslims, some of the Muslims, they will pass over. The non-Muslims, when they step onto the sirat, they will fall down into hellfire. So Allah mentioned, Inna jahannama kanat mirsada. So mentioning these matters in the order that they will happen in. لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا. This is a place, hell, Jahannam. It is a place where the people who were sinners, they committed great injustices. They committed kufr. And this is the biggest injustice. This is the biggest zulm. The biggest zulm is to commit kufr. So Jahannam, who is it for? لِلطَّاغِينَ, for at-taghi, for the zalim. Ma'aba, a place, an abode. لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا, that they will remain in it. مَاكِثِينَ, بَاقِينَ, لَابِثِينَ, they will remain in it. أَحْقَابًا, a huqb or a huqbah. Some scholars said that originally the huqbah, it is a period of 80 years. And they said this ayah means that the kuffar will stay in hell forever. But the way it's mentioned is that they will stay there for 80 years, and then 80 more years, and 80 more years, and 80 more years without an end. Some scholars mentioned that there is a period of time that the kuffar will be tortured in hellfire with a particular type of torture. And then they will be tortured for another period of time with a different type of torture. And then like this without an end. لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا, meaning they will stay in it forever and ever and ever and ever. لَا يَذُوقُونَ فِيهَا بَرْدًا وَلَا شَرَابًا. In Jahannam, which is the fire of hell, they will not taste. لَا يَذُوقُون, ذوق, like we say, zaika, like the taste. They will not taste. لَا يَذُوقُونَ فِيهَا, they will not taste in hellfire. Bardan, there will be nothing that is cool, cold, to give them respite, to help them relax. No. لَا يَذُوقُونَ فِي جَهَنَّمْ بَرْدًا وَلَا شَرَابًا. That they will not, we'll get to the second part. This, we're mentioning the fire of hell. There are other parts of hell that are known to be very cold. So in the religious text, it's mentioned that the kuffar, they will be punished with extreme heat and boiling water. And this is Jahannam. Also, they will be punished. They will be punished with extreme cold. And this was referred to as az-zamharir. Az-zamharir. So in the part when they are exposed to the extreme heat, Allah revealed about that, لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا, that they will not taste, they will not have any coldness there, because it's going to be extremely, extremely hot, black fire. And they will not have any cool drink. They will not be able to drink anything that will cool them down. إِلَّا حَمِيمًا وَغَسَّاقًا, meaning that they will not have anything to drink, except that they will have hamim and ghassaq. So in hellfire, they will have to drink if they want to drink, whilst they are experiencing the excruciating pains. They will be able to drink water that is more than boiling. It's not just boiling. They say mutanahil harara, like to the ends of being hot. So hot that it can't get hot after that. Burning so much that it can't burn more than that. And also that sadid, so sadid is, well, you have dam, which is blood. When blood goes off, you have qayh, which is pus. When that goes off, when that goes bad, you have sadid. And it can come out sometimes of people's wounds. This will come out of the bodies of those people in hell. This will be gathered, and the angels will give this to the people of hell to drink. May Allah protect us from hellfire. This is a sadid. So لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا. There's no bard. There's nothing that will help them cool down. Nothing to drink except these things that I mentioned that they will drink. جزاء وفاقا. This is Allah mentioned, this is an appropriate compensation. An appropriate compensation for them because they did not believe, because they did not embrace al-Islam. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا لَا يَرْجُونَ حِسَابًا. They used to think, we're not going to be asked. We're going to die and that's it. There's no day of judgment. There's no resurrection. وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كِذَّابًا. And they used to belie the signs. They used to belie the ayahs that were revealed. They used to belie them and say things like, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. They used to say the Prophet was a poet. أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ. And they used to believe in the past that if someone was a poet, then he had a devil, a jinn with him that would whisper the poetry to him. So وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, these kuffar used to say that Prophet Muhammad is a sha'ir, is a poet, and that Jibreel is a devil who whispers the ayahs of the Quran to him. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. And they used to say also majnoon. They used to say that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam is majnoon, is insane. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الْكُفُرِ. And so on. So these people, وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كِذَّابًا. They belied these ayahs. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ كِتَابًا فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا. That Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala had ordered, after creating the original water and after creating the arsh, Allah created al-qalam al-a'la, a pen that is not like other pens. Light and darkness were not created yet. Allah Ta'ala ordered this pen to write on al-lawh al-mahfuz, on the guarded tablet. Everything is recorded in this guarded tablet. Everything is written there. And so this part is concluded, the part about the kuffar here. فَذُوقُوا. So taste. فَذُوقُوا. Taste now. فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا. That Allah will not give you anything more, anything ziyada, إِلَّا عَذَابًا, except a ziyada, except an increase in punishment and torture. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned about this ayah, هذه الآية, this ayah, أشد ما في القرآن على أهل النار. This ayah is the most severe ayah, the most severe verse in the Quran that hits the kuffar. This is the most severe. Like for it to be said to them that you're not going to get anything more. You're going to get nothing more except more punishment. Ya Allah. فَذُوقُوا, so taste now. فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا. And then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed, and you see this in the Quran a lot, when a surah is revealed, or many surahs are revealed, Allah reveals about the people of hellfire and how they belied the Muslims, and how the idol worshippers, those who liken Allah to the creation, would belie the message of al-Islam and ignore and turn away from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and then there would be mention of what is in store for them if they do not believe, if they die in that state. And then to balance the matters, after mentioning all of these ayahs that really are there, so that people would take heed. These things, they would scare a person. But then to live between fear and hope, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, so that we would live between fear and hope, Allah revealed things about the people of paradise. Inna lil muttaqina mafaza. For the pious, for the one who has a taqwa, for a taqi, or for the people who stay away from kufr. Both of these people, they will have mafaza. Mafaza means gardens. Gardens within paradise. The pious person in paradise, he would have things that the normal people in paradise, the normal Muslims who were not pious, the pious one would have more. There is a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that Allah revealed that in paradise Allah has prepared ما لا عين رأت, ما لا عين رأت, what no eye has ever seen, ولا أذن سمعت, and no ear has ever heard, ولا خطر على قلب بشر, and what no one has ever imagined before. This is not for everyone in paradise. This is not for everyone who enters paradise. Rather, these special endowments that have never been heard by an ear, seen by an eye, or never been imagined, these are for the pious people. The pious person is someone who learns the personal obligatory knowledge. And then they perform all of the obligations that are upon them, all the wajibat, all the fara'id, and then they stay away from all of the haram, so they don't commit sins. This is a person who is a salih, a pious person, a taqi person, a God-fearing person. These are the ones that will have that which was mentioned of these great endowments that no one has ever seen before. The gatekeeper of paradise, Malik, this very honorable angel, the gatekeeper of the gatekeeper of paradise, who is not Malik. Malik is the gatekeeper of hellfire. The gatekeeper of paradise, Ridwan, even he doesn't know, so he's guarding paradise, right? He might even be the one that controls the things that go in and out. And Ridwan, even he doesn't know this part of paradise. He's never seen it. Even he doesn't know it, because Allah revealed that no eye has ever seen it and no ear has ever heard of the pleasures, of the things that make people happy and cause them immense pleasure, pleasure that one has never imagined. This is for al-muttaqeen, that are patient in this life with their hardships. They don't do haram. They don't resort to the haram in tough situations. And they learn what is obligatory. These people, they will have those great merits. As for everybody else in paradise, they will also have great things. But that, for the pious, is on another level. So Allah revealed, Inna lil muttaqina mafaza. The pious will have gardens. Hadaiqa wa an-Naba. They will have, again, the mention of gardens. They will have fruits that they will eat from. Wa kawa'iba atraba. Al-kawa'ib here refers to the young, beautiful women of paradise. وَكَأْسًا دِهَاقًا. Their cups, when they drink, whatever they drink from among the blessed and pleasurable drinks of paradise, they will be full. Not like this, for example. You see that it's not full. Huh? Or when you see, subhanallah, things in packets, whether it's pistachios or whatever it is, half the bag is full. Look at this. It's not full, mashallah. Right? But as for in paradise, the cups are full, they are brimming, they are full. وَكَأْسًا دِهَاقًا. You couldn't put any more in. لَا يَسْمَعُونَ فِيهَا لَغْوًا وَلَا كِذَّابًا. In paradise, they don't hear al-batil, they don't hear any falsehood, they don't hear anything that is wrong or disliked or unfavorable. لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا. And they don't hear people lying. جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا. This is jaza from Allah. This is an appropriate, or rather it is a very, very generous compensation that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has given to these people. And look at the eternal and everlasting generosity of Allah. Allah created you. Allah created your intention to do a good deed. Allah created your good deed. And then Allah created Al-Jannah, and Allah, insha'Allah, will give you the reward that He created for the deed that you did that Allah created. So Allah created everything, even paradise, and Allah will put you into the paradise that He created for you, insha'Allah ta'ala. But this comes with great effort. This comes with great effort. رَبِّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا الرَّحْمَنِ لَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِنْهُ خِطَابًا. So now, the focus has changed now from the people of paradise back to the day of judgment. So you see, at tafsir, the ayahs of the Quran, they happen in different stages and there is a different focus. So we started off with mentioning that the kuffar were asking, so they were asking, we're going to come back? Are we going to be resurrected? No, we're not going to be resurrected. So that was addressed. What are they asking about? They're going to know about it in the future. They're going to know. And then signs of the great signs of the power of Allah were given. Sleep is a great sign of the power of Allah. The mountains, the earth, the sky, the day, the sun, all of these are great signs of the power of Allah. Then, Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. The day of judgment is known to Allah. It is set. It is restricted to a time it will happen. Then they will find out. Then the people of hell were mentioned and what is in store for them. Then a bit about the people of paradise, and now we're back to mentioning the day of judgment. Allah revealed, Rabbis samawati wal ard. Allah is the Lord of the skies. وَالْأَرْض, and the earth. وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا, and what is between them. He is Ar-Rahman. He is their owner. لَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِنْهُ خِطَابًا. On the day of judgment, nobody will be able to speak out of turn. Some people, they imagine that the day of judgment is, and this is not right. This is what the non-Muslims believe. We don't believe this. We know that Allah cannot be imagined in the mind. This is the greatness of Allah. We know Allah is not in one place and is not in all the places. Some people, they imagine that on the day of judgment, Allah will be like a person sitting on a throne, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. This is the belief of the Yahud, the Jews, they believe this. And some people who claim to be Muslims, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. A person known as Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he said that, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الْكُفُرِ. He said that Allah will sit. And what does it mean to sit? It means to have a backside, doesn't it? They said Allah will sit and He will leave the gap of 4 fingers and have the Prophet sit next to him. The gap of 4 fingers, whose 4 fingers? Wal-'ayadhu billah. Anyway, Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala exists without a place. It's not that on the day of judgment it will be like a courtroom, a huge courtroom where supposedly Allah will be in a place in the front and then people will come one by one and be judged and then either to hell or either to paradise. No, it's not like that. Allah exists without a place. Allah has always existed without a place by the agreement of all of the scholars. Among them, Al-Imam Abu Hanifa radiyallahu anhu. This is the creed of the Hanafi scholars. On that day, nobody will be able to speak out. No, because of the fear that many people will have. Some on that day will not have any fear. The prophets do not fear anything on that day, of course. Likewise the pious. But لا يملكون منه خطابا, no one is going to be able to speak on that day, except if they are given permission. يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا. On that day, when الروح, this is Jibreel alayhi salam. When الروح, and why is he mentioned? On the day when الروح and the angels come, when they line up. Why is it mentioned like that? Because Jibreel is their leader. So Jibreel will come alayhi salam and the rest of the angels. Remember, they'll be pouring out of the skies. In some narrations, it's mentioned that some people, when they look up to the skies on the day of judgment, and they will see the angels coming out. It's not obviously exactly the same as this, but imagine a swarm of bees. Imagine when someone upsets bees and how they swarm out and they're everywhere. This is on an even larger scale. On the day of judgment, the skies, they will start to crack, and you might even hear the sound of the skies cracking in different places. And then the angels coming down, it's mentioned in some narrations that some people will think that the angels have been set upon the people because of the way that they are coming down from above, pouring down, flying, coming down. That some people will think that they have been ordered to attack the people, which is not the case, but this is what it will seem like to some. So yawma, on that day, يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الرُّوحُ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ صَفًّا. On that day, when Angel Jibreel alayhi salam will be with the angels and they will surround the people, as Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala revealed in Surah Ar-Rahman, that the angels, they will surround the people, so no one will be able to escape. Some scholars mention 5 rows. So the first layer, then the second layer of angels, and then the third, like this, 5 or 6 layers of angels standing guard so no one can escape. They won't be able to dig into the earth to escape, nor will they be able to climb into the skies, which will be cracked. And they will not be able to escape through the angels. If someone was to say that a person, he escaped the day of judgment, where is he going to go? Because the seas will be on fire on that day. The land will be full of people. Sham will be full. What are they going to do? Get a boat? The seas will be on fire. They will either be boiling, as some scholars said, and some scholars said, no, the water will actually be on fire. So some scholars say, well, how will that be? The other scholars replied, well, this is the day of judgment. Many strange things will happen on the day of judgment, things that you have not seen before. On the day of judgment, it is mentioned in a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that on that day, so many signs of the punishment of Allah will appear. So many signs, and such severe signs, such that these signs have never appeared before. Punishments like, for example, people will be dragged by angels upside down. So their nostrils, their faces will be scraped on the floor. How is it when you, for example, you're walking and you slip and you gash your knee or your elbow and your skin is coming off? You have to actually literally get some of it like this and take it off to clean it. Imagine that, a person on the day of judgment being dragged via his nostrils, his face, all of this, his gums, all of them, blood coming from them. This is something that will happen on the day of judgment. And many other signs like this. This is the meaning of the saying of the Prophet ﷺ when he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَضِبَ الْيَوْمَ لَمْ يَغْضَبْ مِثْلَهُ قَبْلَهُ وَلَنْ يَغْضَبَ مِثْلَهُ بَعْدَهُ. It means that Allah, the signs of His punishment will appear. And it doesn't mean Allah on that day will be so angry that He's never been angry like that before. No, this is not what it means. Allah is not attributed with being sad or happy or angry or furious. No, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Because this is an emotion. It goes up and down and up and down. This means it changes. Allah does not change. So this hadith, when the Prophet said that Allah yaghdab, when he used the attribute of al-ghadab for Allah, ghadab in the Arabic language here. We're not talking about Urdu or Punjabi, talking about the Arabic language. Here it means the great signs of the power of Allah in terms of His torture, the torture of Allah. You might say in the Arabic language, don't you fear the ghadab of Allah, meaning don't you fear the torture of Allah? Don't you fear the ghadab of Allah, meaning don't you fear the adhab of Allah? And this is what it should be understood also in the Urdu language or the Punjabi language. If somebody says, Allah na ghazab, ghadab, this was mentioned in the hadith, not with the meaning of being angry, like a crazy person, not being able to control himself. No, of course not. It means the ghadab of Allah, meaning the adhab of Allah, ta'zeebullah, intiqamullah. So on that day, all of these things will happen. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الرُّوحُ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ صَفًّا لَا يَتَكَلَّمُونَ. No one will talk. Not even the angels. إِلَّا مَنْ أَذِنَ لَهُ الرَّحْمَنُ وَقَالَ صَوَابًا. Except those that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala gives permission to talk. These people and these angels are the ones that will be able to speak. ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. Allah, so now going back to focusing on that thing that the mushrikun had denied. ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. This day is true. This day is coming. You better believe it. It's coming. ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. So whoever wants, and this is what is obviously better for him, then let him take a place of safety with Allah, meaning believe. Be a Muslim, perform the obligations, and stay away from the haram, and believe so that you would be safe on that day. فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. And this is a threat also. It doesn't mean it's okay if you don't believe. It doesn't mean, oh, you can be a non-Muslim if you want, and it's okay. And you can be a Muslim if you want, and that's okay too. It doesn't mean that. It's a threat. It's a threat. It means whoever wants, then they can be safe. And whoever wants, then surely they will be punished severely. In other words, it's up to you. It's your choice. But don't make the wrong choice. إِنَّا أَنذَرْنَاكُمْ عَذَابًا قَرِيبًا. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentioned that He warned of a torture that is coming for you who don't believe. يَوْمَ يَنْظُرُ الْمَرْءُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ. On that day, he will see what his hands have put forward. He will see the things that he used to do in this life, the things he said, the things he believed, the way he treated people, the way he would sit lazily as the time of prayer would exit, not performing the obligations, swearing at Muslims, harming one's Muslim parents, deceiving and plotting and committing all these major sins. يَوْمَ يَنْظُرُ الْمَرْءُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ. Especially the non-Muslims. They will see on that day what they have put forward, what they invested. وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ. And the kafir will say, يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا. On that day, the kafir will say that how I wish that I was dust. How I wish that I was turab. The Prophet ﷺ said that on that day, even the animals will get justice, even though the animals are not accountable. The animals, they're not accountable. If one animal hits another, the animal is not sinful because they don't have minds, they don't have uqul. But on that day, the animal that used to have horns, that in this life used to harm the animal without horns, in front of the people on the Day of Judgment, everybody will be watching. The Muslims, the non-Muslims, especially the non-Muslims and the sinful people. Those, for example, who take the money of people unjustly. Inna Allah yas'alu 'anil ibrati yawm al-qiyamah. On the Day of Judgment, a person will be asked about every injustice, every dhulm, even if it was as much as a needle. As a needle. So if someone stole someone's needle, oh, what's a needle? And well, if that's the case for the needle, Inna Allah, the Prophet said, Inna Allah yas'alu 'anil ibrati yawm al-qiyamah. A person will be asked about something as small as a needle on the Day of Judgment. Then what about everything else? What about everything that is bigger than a needle? So on the Day of Judgment, when the kuffar and some of the sinful Muslims see, they will be made to see that there is an animal that has been given life. Allah has given it life. And it has horns. And an animal that doesn't have horns. What will these people see? They will see now that the animal that did not have horns is now given horns. And the other one is now without horns. And this animal that now has horns will take its revenge. It is given justice. Maliki yawmiddin means that Allah is the owner of the day of judgment, the day of justice. Fairness is done. لَتُؤَدَّنَّ الْحُقُوقُ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهَا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. The huquq, the rights of people will be given to them on the day of judgment. So imagine when the people see that these were animals, they weren't even accountable, and still Allah gave the oppressed one, gave it the opportunity to get its own back, to get what's right. And then what will happen? Then these animals, they will turn to dust. They will turn to soil. And the kafir, what does the kafir say? Ya laytani kuntu turaba. How I wish I was that soil. Because the kafir does not die. He enters hell. And as Allah mentioned, kullama nadijat juluduhum. Whenever the people's skins burn, whenever it burns and it turns to, when it's like turning to ash, kullama nadijat, whenever their skins burn, baddalnahum juludan ghayraha. Allah mentioned that Allah Ta'ala will change these skins to new skins. Why? لِيَذُوقُوا الْعَذَابِ, so that they can taste the torture, so that they can feel the pain. So the kafir will look at that and say, Ya Allah, Ya laytani, oh how I wish. Ya laytani kuntu turaban, how I wish I was that dust. That, the animal, it suffered, it's been hit with the horns, but now it's dust, that's it, it's all over. How I wish I was that dust. Because for me, if this person died as a kafir, it will continue again and again and again without the torture lessening. Allah yusallimuna. May Allah protect us from al-kufr. May Allah grant us the ability to repent from our sins by learning what they are. May Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala grant us death upon al-Islam. We'll stop here today, inshaAllah. Let's say La ilaha illallah and as-salah ala nabi. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.